Good evening. It's our Wednesday night. It's our product experience and training call. This is Keith Hooper here in Central California. Very glad to have you with us. We've got our good friend Dr. Barry White out of Ontario, Canada. Good evening, Dr. White.
Good evening, Keith, and everybody else on the line.
Well, we're excited. We've got a new friend, Don Hilfrick, that'll be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. People are going to want to grab a pen and a piece of paper, take some notes. They don't want to trust their future to their memory, and that's why you want to take good notes. Well, you know, Dr. White, as always, every single week there's just more and more reason to take Immunical every single day. You know, the Carnival Cruise Line had to bring a cruise ship in a day early because everybody came down with the norovirus. You know, they had 277 people sick. Well, you know, you may have been on that boat. There may have been a lot of sick people, but what I can tell you, if the people that were on that boat that were taking Immunical, they weren't sick, Dr. White.
Yep. I never know around which next corner a norovirus or any other one of the virus issues may be around there. On a door handle, on a sneeze. You have to be protected every single corner of your day. Just good common sense.
Well, good common sense, because, you know, we talk about Immunical and what it does. You know, the patterns of use for the treatment and prevention of some very serious health concerns. The fact that Immunical, when it was fed to the animals, they lived 30% longer than the ones that weren't. The fact that the product, you know, is safe to take every single day for the rest of your life, and you can't get it anyplace else. And the reality of that is what separates us from everybody else. And our mission is to make sure that more people are introduced to Immunical so they can have a better quality of life. You know, I think Dr. Droge said it best, Dr. White, in his book, you know, Avoiding the First Cause of Death, and is the title of the book. You know, and it's pretty interesting. The first cause of death is premature aging. And so that's what we've got here. We've got the answer for that first cause of death, Dr. White.
And there's no sense, unless you really want to get someplace else, there's no point in accelerating your death. There's a lot of good stuff to get done yet and all the rest. So, but not more than extending your life, the quality of life. This is another thing that Immunical does, and the platinum, and all the other parts. They give us quality of life. So a person who is 10 years older than their contemporaries still has quality of life better than the younger ones have.
Absolutely. So, you know, as always on these Wednesday night calls, we want to put the caveats in here that the products from Immunotech Research do not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine. And simply the most important food you can use is Immunical and Immunical Platinum, as well as our other great products.
It's also a good thing to say, when you just said that doesn't cure anything, what our whole concept is, we feed the body the nutrients it needs to defend itself, to make itself healthy, and to do all the good things. It isn't what we put in our mouths does the work. It's the body that does the work, reinforced by the nutrients that we put out. And all the products of Immunical, the platinum, and so on, are all the pieces we need to help the body stay healthy and give that quality of life.
Absolutely. And to that point, once again, that's what we're talking about. These products help people. They help people. That information that you can share with others, and that's why we have special guests on these calls. And tonight we have straight from Graceland, I think, Don Hilfrick with us. I'm not sure if I didn't know there was a Graceland in Calgary, Alberta. But Don, welcome to our Wednesday night product experience and training call.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Don, I got to tell you, I love the picture of with the Elvis. My wife had some fun with that, putting out the picture for tonight's call of falling in love with Immunical. So maybe you can share with everybody, if you would, a little bit about Don Hilfrick, about you before Immunotech and before Immunical, if you would, Don.
For sure, I'll do that. Well, first of all, I want to thank your wife for such a beautiful, beautiful picture. And I think I'm going to have to get her to do all of my promo pictures from now on, because that was just phenomenal. So so make sure she gets a big hug from me. That'll be greatly appreciated.
Well, more than welcome, Don. We appreciate you taking the time to be here. So tell us a little bit about yourself, young man.
Well, thanks for calling me young. I'm in about a month here. I'm going to be 58, but I know that you've really been helping us to understand that younger next year is so true. Since we started on the product, it's almost a year. Well, it's just a little past a year ago now. Many people have said that we do look younger. And as a bit of a background, that's what you're asking about in the beginning there, is my wife and I had been taking some very good high-quality products from another company for over 15 years. And what we were finding is late 2 years ago, I guess, so that would be in 2017, November, both of us were seeing that we were our energy was dropping. We weren't getting the health benefits that we were noticing from our, just we weren't feeling that healthy as we had been for years before. And we happened to go down to visit my wife's aunt in down in Lake Arrowhead. And when we were down there having a good time with her, we, Cindy's, my wife's cousin, Facebooked and said, hey, we're in Palm Springs, and why don't you come on down and visit us? So we took the drive down there, visited, and while we were there, we decided to stay a few extra days. So it was at night, and we were just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden she brought out these 2 cups and started making, started shaking the stuff up, and we said, well, what's this? And she said, do you want to try some? Well, we said, sure. And we said, what is it? And so she proceeded to tell us a little bit about Immunical and how it will help to boost the immune system. So her being a nurse and us being in another company for a number of years for, with health, we understood what she was talking about. And so we took the product for a few days while we were down there, and we noticed that we could already feel that we were, like more settled, I guess would be the word. So we decided that we're going to give this product a go. And for myself, my biggest worry, and that had been coming on more and more throughout the years, is my allergies. And in the summer of 2017, I was taking allergy pills for almost 2.5 months during the seasonal allergies when everybody gets like the hay fevers, different grasses. And I knew that it was going to get it had only been getting worse, and I didn't see it was going to get any better. And for me, I can only take the allergy pills for a certain amount of days, because we know the drugs, depending on what kind of your DNA makeup, you'll start to get different reactions. And for me, I can only take one of those allergy pills for about 4 to 5 days before one of those symptoms from taking the drugs start to come back at me. So it'll be it can either be like a really big headaches or nosebleeds or stomach pain. So I was worried what was going to happen last year during the seasonal allergy season, and I was taking the product. It was after 4 months of taking the Immunical every day. Made sure that we were very steward about it, and made sure that we took it every morning and every night. And last allergy season, I only had to take 1/2 of a pill one day for the whole season.
Well, that's amazing, Don. So let me ask you, as a professional performer,
Yes.
a musician that's out there, when you're on those allergy medications and you're trying to perform, that has to be tough.
It goes right for me. It's sort of like a catch-22 between a rock and a hard place. Because if I don't take the medication, seasonal allergies, I just get, it's almost the same thing as a flu. My eyes just absolutely water, and my nose runs, and my throat just gets harsh. I can't almost talk. But when I take the medication, what happens is it dries it out, and within half a night of performing, I'm almost hoarse. And then the next day, I can't perform 2 days in a row because of that. So being able to perform, sing, I can sing days in a row and not an issue now during the whole allergy season. And that, for the pocketbook, is just, as they say in the commercials, priceless.
Priceless with that. Well, I know earlier when we were talking, it's also had an impact on your sleep.
Oh, immensely. And that's one of the things that we found just in the first couple of days, where you wake up and you go, oh, I don't remember waking up during the night. I don't remember, tossing and turning. It was just like I go to sleep, fall asleep very easily, and wake up refreshed, ready to go for another day.
So all in all, Immunical's been a very wise decision in your life?
Oh, extremely, in all aspects.
Now, I know we were talking a little bit, and I got to see how I want to phrase this. You were sharing with us your wife's experience a little bit. We don't want to talk about that. We weren't talking about you, Cindy. You were just sharing some stuff with us. But because we want to have her on as a guest coming up in the next few weeks as well. But I know that she's gotten some great benefit. So when we talk about younger next year, I think that really resonates with her, doesn't it, Don?
Well, definitely, and actually, Judy brought that to mind when we were chatting on earlier, as you said. Judy hadn't seen Cindy for a few months, and when we went over to her place for one of our annual monthly meetings that we have up here in Calgary, she walked in, and Judy just about fell down. She could not believe how Cindy visually had changed in the few months since she had last seen her. She said it was like younger next year exactly. And we've had a number of people actually say that to Cindy. And unfortunately, we had another one of Cindy's uncles passed away, and we had just gone to the funeral, and we were sitting with Cindy is 5. There's 5 girls. And so we were sitting with 3 of her other sisters, and I was looking at the 3 sisters and her nephew, which is 3 years younger, and Cindy looked 10 years younger than everybody else of all the people sitting at the table. Well, except for me, of course, right?
Well, there you go. And Cindy's been using Immunical now for how long? You've been using it for just a little over a year, right?
Yeah, we've both been using it for just a little over a year now.
Well, That's absolutely fantastic, Don.
Yep.
We really appreciate you sharing this with us. So before I go to Dr. White here and bring him into the conversation, anything else you want to add here at this point?
Well, we were talking this afternoon. Do you want me to bring up the other item?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because I heard you've had a couple of wild phone call, conference calls when we bring this topic up. But the Immunical, you remember, like it helps everything in the body, and I know for men, one of the things that we find is less horsepower, let's say, and I've found that has been the get up and go has been greatly appreciated. So when the body's functioning well, it functions well in all aspects, and we'll let people
we'll leave the rest of it to their imagination, but it is fascinating. Right. The product works every time, given time. The only thing we don't know is how much time we've got. So, Dr. White, once again, another Wednesday night, allergies, I'm not sleeping well, younger next year, all the things that we talk about, right?
Right? Yeah, and a few things we don't talk about normally as well, but the whole aspect of keeping yourself in peak performance. How's that for a proper statement after what we've just heard?
Well done. Thank you.
Yeah. So once again, as you're listening to the call, we're going to open the lines up here in just a moment. And, taking Immunical, being younger next year, this is just another one of the series for 2019 where we're talking about it. You have a decision that you can make. You can choose to be younger next year, or you can continue to go on the path that you've been on. And so that's why I think it's just so important for everybody to add Immunical Platinum particularly, into their routine, Dr. White.
As well as the other what was on the other call tonight in terms of Dr. Gutman and the booster, that makes the Immunical and the Platinum work that much more effectively, and a few side effects that are useful. Like my hair is getting darker. We've told you that a few times. And for a person who's 80 and getting their hair darker, that's getting into the miracle category, right? So there's a few more things like that. But all over, when you add the synergistic effect of all our products that we have, the Immunical, the Platinum, and the other things that go with it, the Daily Essentials, for example, all of those synergistically make everything else work better. So the Immunical is more effective, the Platinum is more effective, and all together we get the benefit. Our bodies just soak it up and rejoice in the matter of just being healthier for tomorrow and today.
And younger next year. Okay, well, we're going to open the lines up. Don, can you hang on with us here for a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I'm here till the end.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So once again, we're going to open the lines up here. If you are somewhere where there's noise, please use the mute button on your phone, not *6, but please make sure that you've hit the mute button on your cell phone or your landline, that you've got the background muted out. We're going to open the lines up here. So if you have a thought, comment, or question for tonight, that's what these calls are for. All right, the lines are open, and we appreciate you all taking the time to be with us. We got great sound quality. So who has a thought, comment, or question this evening?
Question for you. This is Tony from New York. How are you, gentlemen?
Good.
I have a client. Her niece has lymphoma. I just wanted to get the feedback on that.
4 packages a day minimum. 2 all Platinum, and if it's all possible, add another 2 Immunical. Dr. White?
And that will not interfere with any other treatment that oncologists may be prescribing as well. There's never been any interference of Immunical products with other medication that may be in use at the time. So what it does is make the body healthier while the lymphoma is being treated. So all around, you're a winner.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay. So what you're looking at, Tony, there's some research there that it's called redox modulation overload. And when you get into the science of this stuff, and you can really go down that rabbit hole, but the reality of it is when a cancer cell in and of itself is abnormal, and it has abnormal amounts of glutathione, more glutathione, and therefore when they do the treatment, it is actually one of the most protected cells in the body. And because it's abnormal, when you introduce Immunical, where it provides the building blocks to make glutathione, the cancer cell overproduces, and therefore it dumps it out of the cell and makes the cell more susceptible to the chemo or radiation treatment. So that's called redox modulation overload. It's a very complicated paper. I don't even know where I've got it, but it was one of the things from Dr. Croak. But that's why that we know the science is there as to why when somebody is going through treatment that they get a positive response. The other part that happens with it is they will not, it helps dramatically regarding their how they handle the chemotherapy as to being a upset stomach, wasting disease, losing weight, so forth, and even with hair loss. So it's just, quite honestly, is it worth a couple of 4 packages a day so you don't lose your hair? and you're not sick.
Yeah.
You know. And,
Excellent. Thank you so much.
That's where you want to go with that. All right. Okay.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Thanks for the question. Who else has thought, comment, or question tonight? Don't be bashful.
Hello.
Yes.
This afternoon. I have a lady who is 9 weeks pregnant with twins, and she has been started bleeding on and off. Will Immunical help?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. She needs to get on the regular Immunical. I don't know about the platinum, Dr. White, at this point. What's your
No,
thought?
the recommendation was stay on the Immunical.
Okay. But I would think, you know, if we go back and look at Wendy Whelan's sister, Pat Lawrence's daughter, other daughter, and we look at the scenario there, I would look at the Immunical, and the challenge we've got is I would think she needs to get on it ASAP. Okay. So,
How many passages?
at least a couple.
Okay, thank you.
At least a couple with that. Okay. All right. Who else has thought, comment, or question tonight? Let me go. I had a couple people muted out, so let me try it there now. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Thought, comments, or questions? You know, allergies are things that you were talking about as you were hearing Don, and he was talking about the allergies. You know, we go back. If there's an allergy, if a person has an allergy, a husband or wife has an allergy, there's two sufferers. Okay? So you just thinking about that. You often think if somebody has an allergy and, you know, it's somewhat of an inconvenience. It really is not just an inconvenience. It actually is detrimental to their life. And it's detrimental to their partner because, you know, as they're suffering, it makes life miserable. As I'm listening to Don talk about his allergies and singing and so forth, and reflect back those 22 years ago with Sandra with her allergies on how bad they were, and she got the same result in a very short period of time. You know, and you think about it, what a difference of quality of life of 22 years now of no allergy medications. You know. And think about the side effects of all these medications. Remember, all medications have side effects. 100% of them, whether it's anything as ambiguous as an aspirin or it's an allergy medication, whatever it happens to be, everything has a negative side effect to it. The beautiful thing about Immunical is because it's a food, it does have a very, very serious side effect. You're going to live longer and look better. You know, just be aware of that. Those are the side effects. All right. Who else has thought, comment, or question tonight? We got a lot of people on the line.
Keith, this is Teresa. Hi. How are you all doing?
Good.
What about blood clots? I haven't seen anything on that, so I was just curious. I have a friend who has lupus, and evidently the lupus caused a blood clot, and it's like a dysfunctional blood clot, some kind of, I don't understand it all, but I was wondering if the Immunical would help with the blood clot, or is there anything else like that?
Okay, Dr. White, your thoughts on the blood clot? I know I would have thoughts with the extra sharp being part of that formula as well, but regarding that, Dr. White?
Yeah, the blood clots themselves, if they're currently in place, of course, you have to get that taken care of with some thinners immediately, you know, get that part. But over time, the Immunical has a long-term effect, and it is beneficial so that you don't get them in the future. There's a whole variety of things, but sometimes the thinner is the way of getting around it temporarily. But there's a long-term aspect. All the autoimmune areas improve, whether it's lupus or anything else. And if you notice, talk about allergies and so on, all those, they're all autoimmune. And the autoimmune function is getting worse in our society. More and more people are having that problems, whether serious, like lupus and so on, or less serious, like allergies. They all need corrective action. And one of the best ways to, I can't use the word prevent, but to assist the body to make sure they don't happen again is Immunocal and Platinum.
Well, and also I would suggest the Extra Sharp just a little bit, because it actually raises the amount of oxygen in the blood and relaxes the blood vessels, so it would help a little bit with that. But certainly on the Immunocal.
Okay. How many Immunocal a day would you say?
Well, once again, you're dealing with. It depends on the severity of what we're dealing with, and I would really go back and look at the lupus scenario. So at what stage is the person's lupus condition? You know, you can go back on xyztools.com,
right,
and on the testimonial pages, there's a recording there of my friend Ed Lacey.
Yes, okay. I listened to that tonight.
Okay. Well, Ed is a friend of mine. This isn't somebody that I know. Somebody knows somebody knows somebody. Ed lives 20 miles from where we're at. He's actually at a church service this evening, and you know, it's been amazing because he's on no medications. And what it was is it had gotten to the point where he had lost so much strength in his hand that that he couldn't pick up a Bible with his right hand.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's gone, and he's done nothing other than Immunocal, or Immunocal Platinum now, okay? And I think he takes 2 packages a day, and he's 69 years old.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you, Doctor.
So once again, I would look at the lupus, look at the scenario there, and then look at it as what is our urgency factor to address this, and that kind of adjusts on how much we need to take. Understanding that as we increase the amount of Immunocal and Immunocal Platinum, we also need to exponentially increase the amount of water that somebody consumes. Okay, because they are going to detox. It's not the Immunocal, but the Immunocal is going to detox them, and if they take more water, it will lessen the negative part of that detox situation. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate
that.
All
right. More than welcome.
If I can add something. Often when we're introducing Immunocal or Platinum, we say to a person, it may require 2 packages per day, but if you want to see faster results, move to 4 for a period of 3 months, and then go back to the 2, because we get and when we get better results sooner, a person is encouraged.
Okay. Good advice. Thank you.
Absolutely, because once again, we go back all those years ago. Sandra is a fast responder. She started taking Immunocal, knew it worked in a matter of days, because we were looking at a different scenario at the time, and I only took 1 packet a day, but it took almost 8 months before I knew it was doing anything.
Wow.
Okay, but I knew it was working on her. I saw the research on the animals that lived 30% longer, the fact that it had patent of use for the treatment of prevention of cancer, so I knew that there was benefit, okay? But the scientific data was there, so there was a reason to continue to take it, but with my personal experience, it took 8 months. I don't want somebody waiting 8 months to get the kind of relief that I got, okay? And so that's why we up the amount of product that we talk about when somebody starts with it. And kind of the thumbnail and this is me, it's not the company, this is not a recommendation from the company, this is me personally. If you're 50 years of age or younger and you do not have a severe health concern that you're worried about, 1 package of Platinum a day. If you're over the age of 50, I'm going to suggest you take 2 Platinum every single day, okay? And you'll know that the product works for you. Okay, and you just kind of look at that, and then if somebody has a health concern, then we're going to go in addition to those numbers. Okay, just kind of a thumbnail. Your thought, Dr. White?
Yeah, and also the other thing too, if people find that the extra load, that taking 4 is going to be a burden on their finances, the way to get it free is probably an important part of that. And that's one reason why I'm so encouraged by the way that Immunocal and all the other products are offered. It gives a person who has less means to find a way to get their product for free and able to take the best advantage of the product's value more quickly.
Absolutely. And to that point, make sure that if you haven't, that you go to xyztools.com, get registered there for the emails. It's for you register for the newsletter. That's an email that will come out that will make you aware of the calls that we're doing. Judy McDonald is doing a business call tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Pacific. That's 10 o'clock Eastern, I think. There at 7 o'clock. But the number and the email notification of that will be coming out tomorrow out of XYZ Tools. Take advantage of that, because oftentimes people want to know how to get, what do I need to do to get my product for free? Well, let me ask you, if you can identify one person that would be interested in building a business here with Immunotech, you can get your product for free, and she can share that information with you tomorrow night.
And Keith, how do we find out about, where do we sign up for the password to see other parts of XYZ Tools?
Oh, now there you go, wanting the secrets. See how you are? Okay, everybody else don't listen, okay? The password is GSH, and it's capital letters, GSH 2017. Okay?
Thank you.
And the reason that we do that is that within that password protected website, we can share anything and everything because it's not public. So it's almost like sitting in somebody's living room, and it's protected by the freedom of speech. If it's an open pass, if it's on the front side of the website and people are making health claims, then I'm subject to, all kinds of other things. But within the password protected part, you're there. But the password is GSH capitalized, GSH 2017. Okay?
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
working.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Hey, Keith, it's Don here. I just wanted to tag on with the one of the side effects of taking Immunical is our food bill has been cut in half, because I'm not craving. Before, what was happening is I was craving lots of food because I wasn't getting the nutrients that my body needed. So we were just buying and eating food, and since we've been on the Immunical, our food bill has been cut in half. So, that's one of the things that we've been sharing with people is, they're saying, well, there's this cost for the product. I'm going like, well, we're paying actually less a month now, cumulative, than we were before starting to take the Immunical.
Well, and I would say the food that you're not buying is the junk food that used to make it home, right? And now it doesn't.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're having then you couldn't believe how much I would have on a plate to eat, and I would still be hungry.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Don. Appreciate that. And once again, that's what we share with everybody. I don't know what it's going to do for you other than make you younger next year. You're going to look better, feel better, and have a better quality of life. Those things I can very much tell you that are across the board. It's universal. Use the product, get the benefits. All the other additional benefits that we talk about on these calls is, each and every person is a little bit unique. All right. Who else has thoughts, comments, or questions tonight? All right, Dr. White, final thoughts?
Now, I was thinking, you sent me an article about how medicine is moving ahead in the same area that Immunical is, but moving at a snail's pace. And they will take more years to ever get there. Here we have in our hands today the mechanism to make the immune system work more effectively and better. And so not only do we look younger next year, but we may not, our health may not take any hits in the meantime of getting there. So the real advantage is we've got something today that the medical side is working on for 5-10 years from now. Why wait 5-10 years when you got it in your hand now?
The drug companies are working feverishly on immunotherapy to reverse the aging process. Okay, and the key to anti-aging is immunotherapy. Well, guess what? Immunical has been around with a patent of use as an immunotherapy agent since 1993, and that's so powerful. Don, your final and closing thoughts tonight?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. Final thoughts. I am so happy that we took the product, that we're taking the product, that we will, as long as we can, take this product. And the biggest thing is for my wife Cindy, how she has transformed health-wise, emotional-wise, and for myself as well, health-wise. And I really thank both you and Judy for putting on these calls, both of you being great mentors, and for Karine, who was the one that took it upon herself to say yes, she's going to introduce this to us, and stayed with it, made sure that we were doing great with the product, and yes, so everybody who is on this call, and I know that's what you're talking about earlier tonight or earlier today with Judy and I, that the decision is, do you want to live longer, happier life? And that's what we chose, and we're so glad that we did that. So thank you so much, both you and Dr. White, for putting on these calls. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being with us, Don. We look forward to having Cindy on a call in the future with us, and we thank so much for Judy for putting us all together, connecting us up. And so with that, we want to thank all of you for being with us here on this Wednesday night, remembering that Immunical makes everybody better, but only if you tell them. With that, it's Keith and Sandra Hooper wishing you a very great evening here from Central California. Thank you, everybody, for being with us, and good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Keith.
Good night,
Thank you, Dr. White. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.